This segment of the CU podcast is brought to you by Monk Pack. Monk Pack offers low sugar, keto-friendly bars which are plant-based, gluten-free, and non-GMO. They're the perfect snack for anyone who is trying to eat better or cut back on sugar and carbs without sacrificing taste. Monk Pack keto granola bars and nut and seed bars contain 1 gram of sugar or less, 2 to 3 grams of net carbs, and each bar contains 150 calories or less.
Monk Pack bars have an amazing chewy texture and come in delicious flavors like sea salt dark chocolate, coconut cocoa chip, and caramel sea salt. And these really are delicious. The coconut cocoa chip is probably my favorite of all of them, and it's just like it's like the chewy granola bars you got as a kid.
Yeah, but they melt in your mouth. But they're not awful for you like the old granola bars of our youth. My personal favorite is the peanut butter dark chocolate one. I love dark chocolate. I love peanut butter.
It is good.
My mouth's already watering. These are delicious.
They're perfect for a quick breakfast, a snack between Zoom calls, or as a guilt-free, decadent dessert. By shopping online, you can avoid another trip to the grocery store and have Monk Pack delivered right to your door. These bars are not just for people eating keto. They're a great snack for anyone looking to reduce their sugar intake while still enjoying delicious, flavorful snacks. You want something yummy? Just grab these. You don't have to be on any specific diet. They contain real ingredients that are delicious and nutritious for your whole family. And in addition to being keto-friendly, the bars are also gluten-free, plant-based, and non-GMO with no sugar alcohols, soy, or artificial colors.
Get 20% off your first purchase of any Monk Pack product by visiting monkpack.com and entering our code CU Podcast at checkout. Monk Pack is so confident in their product that it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll exchange the product or refund your money, whichever you prefer. Again, to get started, go to monkpack.com. That's MUNKPACK.com and select any product, then enter our code CU Podcast at checkout to save 20% off your purchase of these delicious bars. Ian,
Patrick, tell me about what's going on with Wata.
Okay, so this was alerted over the weekend. This was a Reddit thread. A lot of news gets. I'm not big into the Reddit, but I like browsing it.
I have never once posted, but I like to read it for certain things. Keeps you up to date.
It's a whole lifestyle. It's community. So on the game collecting subreddit, potential class action against Wata Games Inc. in California. This comes from Bengo Shijane. This was 7 days ago. Oh, almost a week. I heard about it a little bit later. Hello, all. I'm an attorney, a game collector, and a longtime community member. My law firm is presently preparing a class action case to be filed against Collectors Universe. That's the parent company that bought them last summer, and Wata Games Inc. in USDC, federal court in California. If anyone would like to join the class as a named plaintiff, please send me a message and we can go from there. In order to be a named plaintiff, you would have to have sent a game in for grading with Wata Games within the last 2 years and not received it back in the window estimated by Wata Games. You do not have to reside in California to participate, as the case will be filed in federal court and we will be attempting to certify a nationwide class. A lawsuit class, real quick, just means that they can file it. You don't have to be a part of it when it's filed. They can then find out later, hey, these are the people that can be part of that class. You ever get stuff in the mail like, hey, we advertised a razor and it was bullshit. Here's some money for you, or here's a free razor. Stuff like that. It's just the class certifying doesn't mean everyone's in it suing at one time. They'll do it on behalf of you out there. And if you want to be a part of it later, you can jump on board.
Yes. I recently got one for EpiPens.
Okay, there you go. While the complaint is not yet finalized, I can offer an overview of the issues. The claims intended include unfair business practices, RICO violations, and fraud claims.
Do the RICO.
Specifically, the complaint addresses the statements on the company's website involving false, quote, estimated turnaround times, the fact that paying increased fees does not actually result in different service level, and the market manipulation allegations that were more fully addressed in the Carl Jobst YouTube video and the Seth Abramson articles. This post is intended as a public comment. It is not a solicitation. That line let me know that's probably a lawyer, just by including that line for legality's sake. So here we are, Ian. We've been talking about this for like 3 years now, that there's some fishy shit going on out there. That these people knowing each other, being in bed with each other, Jim Halperin, the owner of Heritage Auctions, having a stake in Wata Games, these people taking on games that they co-own and then estimating the price for them, a grading company estimating a price on something which they're not supposed to do ethically, perhaps legally, going on Pawn Stars and saying these things, driving in the fucking car with the person allegedly, that you're then estimating the price on this stuff. This was all collusion. We know that. And so the pushback I used to get was, well, okay, people know each other. That's what I got. Okay. But if you're misrepresenting relationships in also establishing your business, remember, Wata Games was the only grading company allowed in heritage auctions, and Wata had zero history for that to be the case.
Right.
VGA had existed since what, the late 2000s, 2009, 2010. They existed. They had a history. You may not have liked it, but they were established. And the fact that you had a monopoly going on between the person who ran or running heritage auctions, who also has a stake in the new grading company, that's fishy. There's something going on then. Coupled with blatant market manipulation that we've talked about at length, that Carl Jobs has spoken about, that Seth Abramson has reported on. We all saw this coming to this point. However, a lawsuit has to be specific for damages. You have to say, okay, what damages do you specifically get? So this is a good strategy here because, okay, people have paid for a service, Ian. They're not getting a return on their service within the time allotted, especially since if you go to Wata's website, yes, there are tiers. Get it back in a week. Get it back in 30 days. Right. So them helping to contribute to this market spurred on the demand for their customers, new customer base to come grade games. Correct? You see where I'm going with that?
Yeah.
That's where this is going. All these weird actions and collusion help create their own market and more business that they then could not even properly attend to in their advertised times. That's what's going to be, I think, contended in this lawsuit. And that, with all these relationships that we all know in the tangled web here, I think it's pretty damn strong as a start. And we'll get into some of his responses here. What were your first thoughts when you heard this, Ian?
I think most of the other stuff is going to be difficult, but I think the collusion and stuff like that. But I do think charging for the expedited procedures and not getting things back in time, I think that's going to be the bit that sticks, and I think that's why they're picking that, because once you pick a bit that sticks, everything else kind of gets explored.
Yes.
With the lawyers. You just have to find something that a lawyer likes.
Latch on to.
You have to find something for the lawyer to latch on to, and then they will investigate all the other things that don't seem, that might not have as much substance, but they will do the deep dive on them then while they're looking at it.
Sure. So
no reason I would know anything about that.
Not at all. I just watch a lot of lawyer stuff.
Yeah.
And Suits used to be the best. You ever watch Suits? Suits is a great show. No one ever talked about
Never
Suits.
watched Suits.
It was good. So there's some responses here. You get more detail here. I wish you could sue them for grading their employees' games, owning the auction. This is someone commenting. Owning the auction house many of their graded games are sold through, and buying amongst themselves at high prices to artificially inflate values on their graded games. The response from the lawyer: we have these allegations in the draft complaint as part of the RICO racketeering claims. Such claims are often difficult to state, and the pleading standard is very demanding. But in this case, I believe these allegations are justified. I am hopeful to see where it can go. So this is a part of this lawsuit.
Yes.
They're going to explore this. And this is the brilliant thing about these cases, especially civil cases. These are long periods of time. Civil cases take a hell of a lot longer than criminal cases usually. There's things like discovery, getting information back and forth. Like, you have to open up everything. So if this gets going, they're going to say, we want all the fucking emails between all your employees, for example. We're going to want all the communications between Jim Halper and Dennis Conn. We're going to have to see all of this.
Unless it settles.
So they're going to have to open up everything to this. This is why this is going to go someplace. It's going to go someplace. If they fight this too hard, we're going to hear more and more stuff come out from this. Someone said, please tell me Carl Jobs is helping. Also, as an owner of Wata Games, do you expect to introduce a suit for such a class of harmed folks? Right now, this is the response. Right now, we are working on the class definition. I think that the only way to have a good chance to have the class certified is to limit it to people who have gotten games graded through Wata, even though I fully recognize that anyone who owned a Wata graded game was harmed by the conduct of Wata Games, as disclosed by Jobs and Abramson, and maybe Ferguson and Contry. We do not have direct involvement from Jobs or Abraham. However, the work those gentlemen did absolutely convinced the attorneys and staff here, especially the non-collectors, to take this matter on. They did amazing work, and we are really grateful to them for doing the legwork and laying everything out as they did. There's a couple more about more of the strategy involved here that goes more into how the fraud could be a part of this. Here we go. This is from Mark Zero. I am also an attorney in California for video games. Can you explain the link between late processing times and the market manipulation? What specific claim is that addressing? Thanks. Wata, and this is the response from the lawyer. Wata and Heritage Auctions conspire to artificially inflate the retro game market by selling video games to their friends and cohorts, including the owner of Heritage. That's a fact. Like, they can argue that they didn't do that. That's in black and white. They use public theatrics, including going on Pawn Stars, pretending to not know each other, and then pretending to appraise their own games, artificially inflating expectations and prices. They also claim to avoid the appearance of impropriety while simultaneously giving their associates preferential treatment and special badging, the Carolina collection, all while allowing their employees to sell games Wata itself graded. In the meantime, average collectors did not know the behind-the-scenes dealings, started sending in their games for grading based on the artificial market hype, questionable sales, fake appraisals, and media appearances by this company. Price games continued to skyrocket. Wata carried on charging people large sums to grade games, but they were swamped. They claimed you could get your game back in 45 business days, but held them for 8 or 9 months, even for expedited service tiers, effectively prohibiting collectors from participating in the favorable market. But that they helped create, by the way. They continued hyping their own services and the value of their graded games, knowing full well they could not meet their own deadlines. They never offered people discounts or refunds or even disclosed that the different service tiers were all fiction. They just kept taking money. Meanwhile, in August 2021, independent journalists exposed the market and manipulation. Wata continues to have people's games, often nearly a year on, and the market for those games have changed significantly. Ultimately, both Wata and Heritage profited immensely off their own false hype. There you go. That's the case. That's solid. And I will add this. If you're out there listening to this, one of the other things that they did in terms of, yes, you have more business coming, you're charging more for expedited service you can't do. Games that get graded, the price to grade them is based partially on the valuation, the market valuation. So in them conspiring to manipulate the market, their prices go up for grading. They're making money all ends of this.
They make more money the more expensive they tell you your game is going to be worth. The more expensive they can get these games to be, the more money they make.
Yes. That's the racketeering part, I believe. That's the RICO part of it. To me. So that on its surface is like I said, it's hard to claim. Like, there's no damages to me and Ian personally. There's no monetary damages. They help fuck over it and mar our hobby. That's fine. That's not monetary. But the people that are spending money to get these graded, with the expectation also they can then turn around and sell them for the price that may be manipulated in the market, that's the direct loss right there. That's where they have a strong case.
So, got to bring this up.
Okay.
Because it just came up. And this is probably big. Nintendo hit with a labor complaint. Nintendo manages to avoid...
You want to cut this into this? Because I'm still going, but okay.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to be able to make a full topic out of this. But an unnamed worker is alleging that Nintendo and a firm it uses for hiring contractors violated their legally protected right to unionize, according to a new filing with the National Labor Relations Board.
In the U.S.?
Yeah, in the U.S. You never hear about Nintendo when it comes to labor issues. So this is pretty big. And with the groundswell of support that unionization has seen over the past few months, which I'm happy to see, this could look really bad for them very quickly if they don't figure it out. So just pointing that up. There's no other news. This was literally announced an hour ago. So not a whole lot else to mention there. But I feel like if we didn't mention that, people would ask constantly why we didn't mention that.
Well, back to this. There's another response from the lawyer here. They're a longtime video game collector and had personal experience with Wata and their nonsense. They said, I was really dumbfounded by the Carl Jones video and the Seth Abramson articles. See, that's the thing. We take for granted that we follow this step by step by step. What if you didn't? What if you're just a collector out there? I see prices go up, Ian. I don't see all these press releases. I don't know these people all know each other. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, people can get sucked in by this and thinking it's all natural. Again, I'm not naming names. I had longtime collectors and multiple game journalists say to me when I pointed out before the Carl Jones video, look at all this stuff. They all know each other. Something's going on here. Oh, it's not a big deal. This is just a natural progression in the market. They were hand waving me like I was a fucking crazy person. And that's what's insulting. That's what's insulting about all of it. Were you insulted by it, Ian? I was insulted by it.
I'm not insulted. I don't get insulted very easily.
But you're not miffed when people say to your face, like, this is nothing? When you're like, what? How is this nothing? Because you want it to be nothing? So anyway, so going on, the lawyer had to educate the rest of the law firm about video game collecting, which is funny as hell to think about that. They're on a board. Tell me, Joe, what's up with video games being collected? Like, I just picture all these old stuffy guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they were like, okay, there's enough here. Let's go. Let's try to do the class action suit here. And as you said, if they settle, that would prevent all the information from coming out slowly but surely, being drawn out from it.
A lot of most lawsuits, especially ones that aren't criminal, they settle because it prevents you from going through weeks and years worth of bullshit.
Well, this is an interesting thing now, though. Collectors Universe bought them, remember, right after the announcement of the 1.5 million Mario 64. It was like, I guess it was planned or whatever.
Yeah.
I wonder, because Collectors Universe now has this liability. They bought the liability of all the crap that Wata did before that. What's the ramifications for now Collectors Universe looking at it? It's like, what the fuck did we buy? Did they know that this stuff was potentially going on under their nose? Would they have offered a lot less, knowing that, wow, some of these prices might not be natural? There's some stuff that's going to come out from this, I think. This could take a year. This could take 2 years. This if this lawsuit goes forward, this is going to be some shit. I'm not saying it's going to rock everything upside down, but we're in for a ride, I think. And I'm glad this is coming to people's attention, that people have the power to do something about it. By the way, this lawyer also said they did file something with the FTC, Federal Trade Commission. So we'll see what something that happens there. I don't have a huge amount more to add, but yeah, this is interesting. Ian, you like it?
You pretty much covered everything. It's interesting. It'll be interesting to see where it goes. I don't care about collectors.
You don't care about me,
I just don't care about this world or market at all.
But you care that people can take advantage of it.
Yes, I do care that people are getting taken advantage of, but I don't care about Collectors Universe or whatever either. They can do their own research.
Oh, about Collectors Universe, the company.
Yeah, I don't give a shit about them.
Gotcha.